5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted. Oh, Upbeat Ferraro, he just sneaked onto the inside and he has to P2.
Salvage some points all the way down.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside. Putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side. But it's got the inside line.
Good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in, and welcome to the much awaited, much anticipated season 9 of IRC F1 Esports. After 8 seasons of hard fought battles on track with numerous drivers and constructors champions crowned, we return once again for what should be an action packed season in the new F1 game for 2022. And although this isn't the tier 1 that everybody is used to looking at for the fastest drivers, tier 2 has oftentimes produced some of the best racing action that IRC has to offer. And I'm sure that this afternoon we should be treated to a fresh new batch of exciting racing on track. Good afternoon. My name is Aidsel. I'll be your commentator for today. And joining me in the commentary box will be Moto and SSJ Assassin for what should be an exciting season opener in Tier 2 as we head to the sunny nature of the British countryside for an exciting race around Silverstone. Although, with British weather in mind, it should rain at some point during either qualifying or the race. Lads, welcome. It's a new season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be back. It's been a while, hasn't it? A lot of racing action we've seen in real life, and I think we're going to get a replication of that in the game with how these cars work and the physics change and the handling change. It's new territory for most of these drivers, so yeah, looking forward to that. And the track's great as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. Silverstone is one of those classic tracks which always produces great racing. And over the past couple of years, has produced great races both in real life as well as in F1 esports. So we do have a lot to look forward to as we head into qualifying. But before we do, let's have a quick look at the tier 2 grid. While we are waiting for the boys to ready up, we will I'll quickly run you down through the tier 2 grid. So in Mercedes, we have Jose Hero and Abi20. In Red Bull, we have Duke and Sager. In Ferrari, we have Shawshank and Heisenberg, one of the drivers who was responsible for McLaren's Constructors' Championship last time around. In the McLaren, we have Anish Montero and Monk. Anish Montero was a strong favorite for the championship last season around, but had to miss the last couple of races due to personal issues. In Alpine, we had Swatcat and Ritesh, who makes a jump up from tier 3. And in AlphaTauri, we have Faves Crack and Maverick Loki. In Aston Martin, we have BK19 and Keaton Samuel. In Williams, we have Strendy and Ace Scoop. I think all two more drivers who had graduated from tier 3. In Alfa Romeo, we have Divyansh Kaushik and Mamuka Admi, who will forever go down as one of the funniest names in IRC. And in Haas, we have AJ and Pirate SG. We have a few reserves as well, but I don't think they should be featuring today because, if I'm not wrong, we almost have a full grid. Dan, maybe you can confirm for us if we have 20 drivers today.
Just give me a second. I will check. I think we do. I am not able to see the attendance list. So yes, but yeah, the last time I saw it was full.
We should have a look at who's in the lobby during the race, so we can always have a little bit of patience and have a look during qualifying. But yes, the first race of the season at Silverstone, a great track like we were mentioning earlier. And for this season, because of the new features added to F1 22, we have the option of being able to run sprint races as well. But round one at Silverstone is a standard race. So we will have a short qualifying of about 18 minutes, and then we will have a race of 50% distance where the drivers will go head to head. And I'm really, really looking forward to the quality of racing in these brand new cars, with the FIA having hyped up these cars for about 2 years now and promoting the new standard of racing and how racing is going to be closer, harder fought. Moto, you've been on the new game for a while now. You've been experiencing it since the free trial period a couple of weeks ago. What has been your thoughts ever since the patch came out a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, so on launch, this game was completely different from what we were used to for the past 2 to 3 years, since probably F1 2020. With the increased, difficulty and the patience, how patient you have to be on throttle out of corners in low speed as well, because these cars are just so unstable. They will not have much downforce through the low speed corners. But yeah, it was a huge change for all these drivers, and they all had to adapt, change their driving styles, adopt different lines, and take more or less curbing where they couldn't take last year or could take last year. So yeah, all these factors surely will play into today's race. There's a lot of ambiguity in the air as to how these cars will behave in heavy fuel and under, when there's a risk factor as well, because this is a one-shot thing. If you crash out, you're DNFing. So how safely do you want to play it? How much you want to push from the start, from the mid stint? It's all going to be very interesting. You can see in the background a huge cattle of cars going like 4 wide there to that corner. So yeah, all the way looking forward to this, and I think we should head on to the Hotlap.
So, Silverstone, a fantastic circuit to race, one of the historic ones, definitely been on the F1 calendar for many, many decades now. An interesting track, 18 corners to deal with that starts with the Hamilton Straight and ends with the Hamilton Straight. No prizes there, but let's head on to the hot lap and see how to tackle this circuit.
And let's go for a lap of Silverstone on board current Tier 1 champion Helium. As we come across the line, start the lap, turn 1, Abbey corner, flat, clip the inside curve, make sure not to run wide on exit. Turn 2 is again flat coming through. Turn 3, important to keep as tight to the apex as possible. Turn 4, loop section, which also consists of turn 5 as well. Very, very important traction zone coming out of there. Coming on to the Wellington straight, the first of two straights on this track as we come through Brooklyn's infamous corner, constantly tightening. Important to get a good inside line through there. Hook the wheel through the curb. Luffield corner as well. Woodkit is pretty much flat as now we head up to the infamous part of Silverstone, which is the end of Sector 2 towards the beginning of Sector 3. Cops corner, very hard to get absolutely right. A late turn in ensures you won't run wide on exit. Coming now for the infamous Maggots Beckett section, pretty much just a case of downshift and flick your way through these corners. Only have to really brake for Chapel and we are officially done for that. Coming into Sector 3 now, down the hangar straight, DRS open as we come down to the uphill Stowe corner. Brake just at the beginning of the curb on the right hand side, hook the car in, try to not run wide on exit. Very important to keep it within track limits as we come now down to the Vale chicane, where Hamilton and a couple of drivers went up against each other, and we come across the line again, round the Hamilton straight to get a lap of Silverstone.
Great lap there from Helium, current Tier 1 champion, and definitely going to be one setting the pace in Tier 1. But today, topic of discussion is Tier 2. And what I was mentioning earlier about how these cars are a little bit more difficult to drive, and that is definitely the case. A little bit less so after the patch because it has made traction a little bit easier. But one of the main factors that's going to be a big, big talking point in F1 22 is going to be just how unfriendly it is towards controller users. I mean, it's not that it's impossible to drive the new game with a controller, but it's definitely not ideal anymore. We're seeing some of the controller boys on IRC struggle with the new game in terms of traction zones and whatnot. We've seen, even really, really fast boys struggling a bit. So Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to the new game as well, because of course F1's main audience is controller users on consoles and of course on PC, because controller is definitely a cheaper way to play um, sim racing titles. But a lot to look forward to this season. Many exciting tiers of racing. We had Xbox scheduled on Thursday, but we had some last minute technical issues, so the stream couldn't go up in time. We had Tier 2021 yesterday, which was a fantastic race, a wet race, I think, which transitioned later on. So good race there. A lot of side by side action going on as well. And with crossplay just around the corner, I think attendance is going to be much increased in future races as well as future seasons, because with crossplay you have the additional possibility of having Xbox and PS PlayStation users join PC users in the races as well. So we will see a lot of the fast boys from Xbox uh, bleed into tier 1 as well. So exciting future for the F1 esports scene when more faster drivers are introduced to this um, esports community, let's say, and more people will be able to join IRC as well as other esports communities and take part. So it is exciting times. Do not worry, we are still on for a race this afternoon. So we are still waiting on our lobby to ready up, and some settings are still being sorted out in the background. The recent testing period for crossplay has caused a few issues to crop up here and there that we ourselves could not predict. So we are trying to get that sorted out in the background. But rest assured, a race should happen this afternoon. I will guarantee you that. I mean, if it doesn't, then I'll just hop on time trial and start streaming, and maybe hopefully people see me spinning a few times. Or maybe Moto, you should do that, because we have a race coming up this evening in Tier 1. I believe we're both involved.
That tier one race is there tonight, folks. Tune in at 8 p.m. That's going to be a good one as well. But topic of discussion for today afternoon is tier two. And while we wait for the lobby to get this set up and all, let's just talk a bit about this track and how differently would you drive this track compared to last game? So what would you change about your club?
I think in particular for me, I've changed my assists around a little bit, so maybe I may not be the prime person to ask this question, but I can definitely answer it for you. In terms of the new game, if you were talking about pre-patch, definitely the traction was changed a little bit from the F1 2021 game. So I'm thinking maybe the snail section heading on to the Brooklyn Straight, the Wellington Straight rather. That traction zone was one that was catching out a lot of people in the new game. I think that's a place where you'll need to be keeping an eye on things. Also through Maggots and Beckett's, the car seems a little bit more stable, but it feels like uh, the setups have a much bigger impact now, and the tires as well. Silverstone being a high wear circuit on F1 22, your pressures are very important, your temperatures are very important. Obviously, when you come on to a new to a new set of tires, your tires are ice cold. They pretty much start at 70 degrees, which means it takes a solid lap to get them into the working temperature. And by that time, you risk losing a lot of time, especially if you spin or if you have some kind of a battle and you don't have optimum traction, you could find yourself losing multiple positions. So it's not just about on track action. You have to be timing your pit stops well. Ideally, you should be trying to get pit stops done under VSC or safety cars, because then you have some margin to warm up those tires and get them into somewhat of a window, if not the optimum tire temp between 92 and 97, 98 degrees. If not there, you can get them to at least 80, 85 degrees just by warming them up behind the safety car. So a lot of things to think about from a driving perspective. It's not just a case of slap on a setup and head out there and set fastest laps. Um, you do have to take things into take multiple factors into account.
Yeah, absolutely. And that tire temperature thing you mentioned is very interesting because I think that's just going to compound to the fact that it's going to make racing very interesting in this game because you're going to have fresher tires, but you're going to lose that advantage with the cold tires you come out on after you make a pit stop. So just that factor in itself is just going to add so much more wheel to wheel action, especially when you have the loop section as you come out of the pits, which is already really good for wheel to wheel racing because of how many lines you can take through those corners. So yeah, it's just these few instances just make the prospect of racing that much more interesting and more exciting. So again, speaking like continuing on the tire discussion, the tire model is different for this game. So we do have the new tires introduced by the FIA. As we do head in the into the lobby, finally we are back, boys, and yep, it's a full grid as it still had mentioned in the rundown. So we got all 20 drivers packed into this lobby, and we're going to see all of them fight it out for the top spot here. Because knowing this game, with the lack of dirty air in real life, I don't know if it's replicated that well into this game. Haven't done much of race running myself. We're going to see most of these drivers in one pack fighting it out. So as we head on for qualifying, the telemetry, we would like to apologize to the viewers. The telemetry is a bit bugged out for now, so we're just still working. Our team's still working on fixing it. So we don't have the weather updates for you, but from what we can see on screen, it is slightly overcast, so a bit high pressures. So the tires get nice and toasty before they start their laps out, and yeah, we see some drivers heading. So. Yeah, Aidsel, what are your thoughts on the grid? Because we do see some mixed up names here from Tier 3 and Tier 2 last season. Even Tier 1, if I'm correct, or is that... I don't think there's a Tier 1 driver. So,
I'm just looking down the grid, and I don't think we have a Tier 1 driver on the track right now. But we do have Tier 2 and Tier 3, so it's a good mix of talent. We have faster drivers from Tiers 2 and 3 getting put into Tier 2 for F1 2022. And yeah, happy to see a full grid for the opening race of the season. If not for the rest of the season, we do hope this is a consistent team and people get involved with the league, because F1 2020, F1 22, I'm really liking this game so far. The cars are better, they look better, they feel nicer to drive. I mean, I am on a wheel, so maybe I'm a bit biased from in that aspect, but yeah, I'm really loving this new game, and I'm looking forward to all the league racing action that we have coming up over the next few months, and with crossplay, as I mentioned earlier, coming soon as well. It's an exciting period for F1 esports. As we get qualifying started, of course, as I mentioned earlier, short qualifying, 18 minutes of qualifying available to the drivers. Now, ideally, we should be seeing at least 4 or 5 fast laps from every driver, assuming they don't invalidate, of course. So we have everyone warming up their tires right now. All the drivers should right now be ideally on the soft tires to try and put in a lap, because if the weather is imminent and we do see rain a little later in the session, then you should be looking to put in a fast lap now before the track conditions do deteriorate over the course of the session. See, yellow flag already.
Yeah, that's just F1 2022 at play there. Yes, Dan, could we just have telemetry on quickly so we can see how these drivers are managing traction? As we go on board with the McLaren for the first qualifying lap of the new 2022 season in IRC. So heading into the first few corners already done. So now heading into this section, you want to take a late apex here, clip that curving slightly, take a very narrow line, keep the power down, keep the throttle balance up so you don't shift the weight of the car too much, too drastically, and cause yourself to spin out. Tackles that section very nicely, heading into Cop's corner, turn in earlier than you think in this game, because the cars are very understeery in general, as he didn't quite do that and ran a bit wide on the exit. But yeah, that just goes to show how these drivers are still getting used to the cars as access group. Completely devours that sausage gun there, but yeah, that was the start of a lap there in the new game.
Yep, we got until halfway with Montero before he invalidated the lap at Cobbs. But yes, he's going to be one of the drivers to look out for in this Tier 2 season. Definitely a contender for the Drivers' Championship if he can be consistent and stay active for the course of the season, because we found that last season we weren't able to see him for a couple of races. He was my teammate, so it was a little bit of a disadvantage for us in the Constructors' Championship. But in the end, even though he wasn't there, we still managed to get within a couple of points of McLaren. So I just imagine if he was there, he'd definitely be up front winning races, and we would have had a much better chance. Anyways, we see Red Bull looping it, coming through the last corner actually.
And another one.
Just looking to start the lap there, and we can see Red Bull casually chilling on the grass, coming through turn 1. We're on board Heisenberg, one of the fastest drivers in Tier 2 last season, very consistent. uh, knew how to manage his race pace, and also he's a controller player. So will be interesting to see how he does over the course of the season versus the wheel users in Tier 2. Coming through the snail section now onto the Wellington Straight, a very technical section. He seems to have handled it extremely well. As there's yellow flags in all three sectors. Thank you, F1, for actually this is the F1 game being stupid. So obviously in real life you have drivers backing off, giving space for other drivers and for letting them through on their hot laps. And the F1 game assumes that whenever you're slowing down, you have an issue. It's kind of stupid in that aspect. But
Yeah.
not really too much to complain about there. It's just part of the game. Heisenberg was purple in Sector 1 as he's coming through Cops Corner now. Important to get the turning point absolutely right. He seems to have done a good job there of keeping it on track. Hasn't been validated yet. Let's hope he doesn't. Commentator, of course, has come in clutch numerous times in IRC before, handles that very well. A little bit of understeer coming out of Chapel, but he's on to the hanger straight now. DRS open, coming down to Stowe Corner, or rather I should say coming up to Stowe Corner because it's an uphill turn. Get the car pitched in, stay on the brakes for as little time as possible because you have to maximize momentum now. Coming down to the Vale chicane was an area of some spectacle in this most recent Silverstone race in real life, as Hamilton got a double overtake done through here. As Heisenberg comes across the line, it's a 129.1. So he was purple through Sector 1, but was not able to scrap much more time in Sectors 2 and 3. It's good enough for P3 right now, but he'll also look to improve on that time, as there is a a Mercedes spinning off, coming through just before Cops, and that's near the GT3 pit lane, or the old Silverstone pit lane. So interesting place to spin, but I'm thinking he spun coming out of Luffield or Woodcote. It's one of those ones.
Probably Duffield, yeah.
Probably Luffield, yeah.
Yeah, but we have earlier times in the session now. 28.6 is in provision for vice trendy. I'm not quite sure how representative that is in this game. So we're just gonna have to see how the track evolves. And there's a huge lack of grip compared to time trial and qualifying. Compared to the last game is more drastic in this one. So yeah, you can expect the times to be very slow at the start of the qualifying session. So the track will ramp up, and so will the drivers as they get into terms with the track and how these cars behave on low fuel modes. And yeah, it's just gonna be getting faster throughout the session, isn't it? As we see Sager just winding himself through this section, one of the most technical sections of the circuit. Circuit is a beautiful mix of high speed, medium, and low speed corners. Actually, I would like to call this a flatter Spain, if that's possible, because there's just not much undulation compared to Spain in terms of elevation and all.
Not
But
Silverstone by comparing it to Spain, good sir. There are many people out there who would not agree with your observations, but yes, I get what you're trying to say. It's that the technical track is a combination of everything. Maybe
Yeah.
F1 and the FIA should start using Silverstone for their track tests. Maybe
They could. It's got a perfect blend of all these different types of corners which pre-season testing does require. But enough of that. We see Sager backing out this lap there. He has to be, because he did not take all the exit there. He misses. Yep, he's definitely backed off. So.
very deep into Vale.
And yeah, maybe he's going to continue for another lap. That puts him P8 with a very scruffy lap, if I'll be honest, the last sector. But yeah, I think he just wanted to get a banker down, so that's worked out well for him if that was the intention. But yeah, it's as these times are slowly ramping up. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? And while I say it's in this, what are your predictions to the viewers as well? Who's going to pip it on poll for today afternoon, lads? Put your predictions down, and we'll probably give you guys a preview or something.
We will make you IRC admin for 24 hours. No,
Your words, not mine. I had no part
no
in this.
guarantees. TNCs apply. Subject to market risk and all that etc. jazz, all that jazz. But in terms of predictions, I mean, you can't really make any at this point in the season because it is the first race. I think this race will give us a chance to kind of identify who is going to be at the front of the grid. Obviously, in the Tier 2021 race on Friday, we had a couple of newer drivers at the front of the grid making a real impression. So maybe this race will give us an opportunity to see which of these drivers will take the season by the scruff of its neck and really challenge some of these other drivers. We see some of the tier 3 drivers actually in the top half of the timing sheets right now, and they seem to be doing a very, very good job. They're about 3 or 4 tenths of the times of Montero and Shawshank and Heisenberg, who themselves were former tier 2 drivers. So it's too early to make predictions right now, but I mean, we can probably make a prediction with respect to time. I think we should see a high 27, low 28. I think that's the perfect lap around here. And regarding what you said earlier about the traction issues in the race condition or qualifying conditions versus time trial obviously represents optimum track conditions. You know, your grip is perfect and your tires are always in the right window. So it's designed for hot lapping. And as a result, anybody who spends a lot of time in time trial and then expects to run a race will find themselves struggling, because the race is very dynamic. Things change over time. Your tires obviously wear out, etc. So you're not going to be able to do that sort of time trial, hot lap style, lap after lap. You're going to have to manage your tires, manage your pace. And as a result, the hot lap merchants will find themselves losing out to the people who are practicing race runs. So little tip from all of us here in the commentary box: practice your race runs, kids, because they're very important. Don't just stick to hot lapping and time trial, because that will not get you anywhere in the long run. As a beautiful run through Maggots and Beckets there by Montero. I believe he is on no assist this season. Actually, no, he's on ABS this season. Talking about assists, Tier 1 assists have been relaxed a little bit for this season, but it should not be for very long. We should expect to be back to no assists from next season as crossplay begins and we see more faster boys join Tier 1. But yeah, get involved in the action. Join us. Join IRC using the Discord link in the description below. Do like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing. We're coming down to the final stages of qualifying. Only a couple of minutes left now. We've had enough time for these drivers to get used to track conditions, and I'm sure the times will now be tumbling, even though there seems to be yellow flags absolutely everywhere. The drivers will not pay attention to that because the game is stupid, and we will not be slowing down for any of that because it's just drivers letting other drivers go. 6 minutes left, and currently the man on provisional pole is Strendy with a 128.6, a lap that has yet to be bested by anyone else in the session right now. But Face Crack seems to have put on a magnificent job going through Sector 2, going purple. Everybody seems to be setting purple sector times as a car spins off in the background there. I think that was a Mercedes. I think that was Jose on his outlap. Or it might have been Abhi as well, who has set an interesting lap time of 2 minutes 14. As Face Crack comes across the line at 29.1, enough to put him in P5. So he's lost time in sectors 1 and 3, but he's done a magnificent job in sector 2. And yeah, that is Abhi, who had spun out coming through Stowe and is spun again before Vale. He's not having a good time.
The game says he's in the pit right now, though. Oh, is that Duke? My bad, that was Duke. But yeah, Abhi is seems to be struggling. Can't quite get the power down, and a lot of people did struggle with that. So he's still getting into terms with the game. Fairly consistent driver, so we might be seeing an evolution of sorts over the course of the season in terms of his pace. But now back to the mean lad of the season. Mamuka Admi is filtering through Sector 1 as he's very jittery on the steering, trying to navigate to the loop section, and he's lost his car out of that corner. And yeah, not a good to see this qualifying.
You could say, in the words of Moto from a couple of weeks ago, that his steering actuator let him down there. But yeah, a lot of choppy inputs there from Mamuka Admi, cost him a lap, and unfortunately he is quite far off the pace. So he'll be hoping to put in a proper lap in a couple of minutes' time, because there isn't much time left.
That's a proper lap.
That's a proper lap. That's a lap and a half, as everybody seems to be improving. Jose's moved himself up into P2 as well, I believe, with a great lap.
That's nearly a nigh on 5 tenths improvement compared to P2. That's a stonking lap by the Ferrari driver, really putting out a statement there. 4 and a bit tenths up ahead. Yeah, wow, that's a great lap. And yeah, probably track evolution did compare to that. But yeah, if anyone, I'd be surprised to see if anyone can pip that. Let's have a look.
A magnificent lap. Bigger things have happened, bigger surprises have happened. So maybe we see someone stepping up to the plate. You know, the likes of Montero and Abhi 20 are definitely capable of it. Abhi, who himself is in P20 right now. Abhi 20, P20, didn't want to make too much of a pun there. But He's roughly, as the time stand, he's 46 seconds off pace. Avi, pick up the pace, man. There's not much time left now, and a last to first here is definitely asking too much of yourself. So to put in a representative lap, we see a driver diving into the pits, and we see the McLaren diving into the pits as well. Monk, who is a second off pace right now, but I think that's less to do with the fact that Monk hasn't put in a good lap, and more to do with the fact that Shawshank has put in an absolute stonker of a lap. Chaser improves a bit, moves himself up into P5, and it really irks me that that Red Bull isn't the right color, man. It's really annoying that it isn't. It's just
It's a
faded out.
beautiful looking car, bar the color and speed.
Yeah, it's a very, very
Especially
nice looking car in real life. It's definitely livery that has grown on me over the course of the season. But the fact that it looks so bad in game just deters me from wanting to drive it because it looks like someone washed it out in Photoshop. As that is AJ spinning around, coming through Stoke Corner. The line was way too tight through there. As Jose is coming in for his final timed lap, I assume, because there
Will he
won't be
get
enough.
time to put on another one? There's only 2.5 minutes left. But now we go on board with the other Ferrari driver. Heisenberg found himself quite a ways off his teammate, actually, almost a second, that is. Getting a nice pass light going for the fans there as I think he got distracted by that Alpha Tauri in front of him, maybe. I think they factored into that. Someone's wiped out the 50-meter board, but that's all right as he beautifully nails that corner, great apex and all. Sticking a tight line, trying to get the rotation under braking, the throttle, keeping the car balanced, not using all the track. I think he might have backed out. Yeah, I think he's backed out. This is the IRC. So maybe he's going to go again. These tires, you don't want to do too many laps in them because the tire wear in this game, I think we forgot to mention this as well, is much higher compared to the last game. So the strat, which we will be talking when the race does begin or when we get to the formation lap start, the tires do behave differently on this game. So there's more tire wear with these high profile or rather low profile tires. It's more the wheel rim than the tire itself. So yeah, it's just more finicky to manage. They take too much time to heat up, too much time to cool down after they heat up, too much time to set up, and they wear out too quickly. So yeah, all this is going to play a factor in qualifying and in the race. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers manage that as Access Group filtering through traffic paradise towards the VP Soda.
Love that livery. I love that livery. That Williams looks beautiful. Regardless, a minute left in qualifying. A lot of drivers on their outlaps right now, so it's not quite over. Shawshank is breathing nervously at the top there. He has got... As I say that, Montero puts in a stonking lap and splits everyone at the top by about 500ths of a second. 600s actually faster than Shawshank. I was just mentioning that Shawshank was breathing nervously at the top and Montero puts the time in.
Access Group did not get a validation there, surprisingly. So he's going to go on and continue this lap as he goes very wide through that section.
Very deep through Beckett's, and that doesn't set him up well for Chapel. So he's going to lose a lot of time through there. 0 seconds. The qualifying has officially ended. Drivers now have 3 minutes to finish the laps that they're already on. A lot of drivers currently out on a hot lap. A couple of drivers backing up through Brooklands, I can see as they're coming through Luffield right now. About 3 drivers toe-to-toe with each other. They're all basically breathing down their own neck. They shouldn't be doing that. They should put a little bit of space between them. As BK19 comes across the line, does he improve on his time? He doesn't. He remains 15th. That's not really great result for BK19. Definitely, I know that he has the pace within him to improve. Strendy filtering through Chapel, coming across the second timing line now. He is purple in sector 2. A good lap here from Strendy. We shall stay on board, see how it goes for him. I'm having a look at the track map now, seeing who else is coming through. There's a Haas, a McLaren, a Mercedes. I believe that is Joe's. Actually, no, both Mercedes have completed their qualifying, so that's just the AI.
Beautifully taken through that.
Vale chicane was beautiful from Strendy as he comes across the line, puts himself in P3, and he's 600ths off the pole time. P1, 2 and 3 separated by under a tenth. It's very, very competitive at the top there as Monk comes through the Vale chicane as well. Very good line through there. Maybe took a little bit of curve on entry, comes across the line and improves from P8 to P7. Moves Heisenberg down another position, who's completed qualifying. I believe Keaton Samuel is the last driver who's on a hot lap, but unfortunately he hasn't validated anyway. So that is the end of qualifying. Montero takes the maiden pole position of the season for McLaren with a 128.1, a stonking lap from him. We shall have a little look at the final qualifying order in a second here. Montero is on pole position with a 128.1. Shawshank in P2, a great lap from him as well. Narrowly misses out. Strendy with a good job as well. I believe Strendy is a former Tier 3 driver, so an impressive performance from him. Jose Hero in P4, Face Crack P5, Sajo P6, Monk P7. Heisenberg P8 will look to make some positions up on the race start. AJ in P9, Pirate SG P10, SWATcat, Ritesh, Maverick, Loki, Divyansh Koushik, BK19, Geetan Samuel, Aces Scoop, and a few other drivers at the bottom there. Duke, Mamun Kadmi in P19, and an interesting surprise to see RP20 in P last, but he will probably look to make some positions up during the race and put on a real show. That's the end of qualifying. And I think now we can ask people for predictions from future races because we know who's got the pace this season, Moto.
Yeah, that was really exciting qualifying. I was going to say, did you have a look at the track map there? It was like we were in the race already. There were drivers all over the place. Like they were all battling out for position, track position, trying to start out their lap. And yeah, really interesting qualifying session there. And yeah, I had a great time watching that. And top three, well, I wouldn't say in a league of their own, but very closely matched. And yeah, it's.
I don't want to make a bad joke. I've thought of a bad joke.
Go ahead.
You could say 20 drivers all have a league of their or rather a tier of their own in tier 2, but
Yes,
anyway, that
they
joke
do.
was lost on us a little bit. As qualifying comes to an end, the race is about to get underway. We are about to go out for the formation lap. So a little bit of an update because some of you may or may not be aware of this information. In the recent patch, something has broken in the F1 game to the point where the formation lap, unfortunately, no matter how much you warm up your tires, you cannot get them into the right temperature window at the race start. They'll always end up being 70 degrees, absolutely cold tires. And this is impossible to manage on race start because you'd be focusing more on just getting a clean start rather than fighting drivers around you. And as a result, the stewards have made the decision within IRC to set the formation lap to broadcast. So as you're seeing right now, the formation lap happening, drivers are not controlling the cars. This is the AI controlling the cars. Now, one disadvantage normally in previous F1 games is you won't have the opportunity to warm up your tires, but you can see the formation lap is already finished, and that's because it has been simulated by the game. All the drivers have been put into their grid boxes. They can't set themselves up now. There's a new feature on F1 22 where you can put yourself in your grid box and you can angle yourself and position yourself perfectly or risk not positioning yourself perfectly as well if you get it wrong. But you can see the last few drivers lining up on the grid, and if you let the AI do the formation lap, you can actually get the tires up to the right temperature. A little bit of a workaround, unfortunately, but it is this race start. We are here. Everyone's lined up. Tires are warmed up. 5 lights. And away we go for the Tier 2 season open. A couple of drivers getting poor starts. Everybody's moving out of the way, changing lanes. It's 4 wide, 5 wide coming through turn 1. It seems like Shawshank has gotten a clean start, has overtaken Montero, has dropped down 2 positions as a result of that race start, not getting a clean start without TC. Of course, some of the drivers ahead of him are using TC medium, if I'm not wrong. Everyone's gotten a clean start. Seems like Jose has lost a lot of positions at the start. BK19 has made up a huge number of positions at the start, and there seems to be a little bit of contact at the back. A couple of drivers have lost their front wing end plates there. I believe that was AJ who's lost a lot of positions at the back. RP20 has only made up 1 position amidst all of that carnage, which is a little bit surprising, which leads me to believe that he may have been the one involved. All the drivers sticking very close to each other. Strendy has already got, or Shawshank has already opened a 1.2 second gap over Strendy. He's already clear of DRS, which is absolutely mad.
Oh, they're going side by side through cops. Oh, the cars ahead. But yeah, Dad, could you just go on with the tires? Because someone had mentioned the top 3 were on different tire strategies. Another thing we forgot to mention, folks, akin to real life, that there's no tire choice anymore. So we can see a varied mix of strategy throughout this race. And the reason why Shawshank has got a good start is because he's on the soft tire. So he's going to be having a massive pace advantage for the first few laps as he speeds on ahead. But the soft tire is not very durable, so that's going to come into play, and these 2 drivers behind him are going to hunt him down very shortly. So Yeah, overall, very clean race start, bar the back of the field. There was a bit iffy business going on there as Shawshank in 16 seconds. Yeah, those soft tires really coming to clutch there. I don't know about what you think, but yeah, those soft tires are rapid.
Going around there like the Red Bull X20 10 50 kilometers down the straight. And you still couldn't do a 16-second lap time. The man is racing a fighter jet out there. But yeah, as you mentioned about the tire situation, very interesting that all top three drivers have gone for different strategies. Right now, Keaton Samuel and Strendy are the only ones on the hards. Maverick, Loki, and Shawshank are the only ones on the soft. But I do believe Maverick Loki did have damage, so he's
Oh,
changed his strategy there as Duke has looped his car coming onto the Wellington straight there. Yeah, that's a difficult traction zone. If you do take a tighter line, you can risk losing the rear end of the car. But Shawshank on an interesting strategy. I think more than Strendy, Shawshank is the one to keep an eye out for here because I feel like he's committed to the two-stop. Medium, soft could work, but again, that's basically a strategy where you're just doing hot laps every single lap, trying to catch everyone up. You don't have to worry about tire wear. As Josie gets very, very iffy going through Chapel there and loses a position.
all
Ooh,
going side by side.
Ooh.
Gets the overtake done. Does the Alpha? No, they're still side by side. Into oh no! They've crashed.
We've had our first retirement of Tier 2 and it's not even been 3 laps, lads. Oh no. That was totally avoidable. I don't know why they had to go so close to each other, but guess what? This has allowed Shawshank and Strendy to reconsider their strategy options as Divyansh Koushik dives into the pit. He started on the medium tires. I don't know if he was he
I
involved?
think he was the Alpha who was involved in that.
Or was it Mamukad me?
No, it was definitely Divyansh because it was in the mid pack, not at the rear of the field. So yeah, I think Divyansh might have gotten some wing damage from that. And it's just the safety car is out, and it's been 3 laps, and we've already had a first retirement. And we didn't get much racing going on there, but there was a lot of it was a very hectic first few laps, isn't it? Like a lot of people scurrying around, trying to keep the car in control, trying to keep the car on track rather.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it
yeah.
because there's a lot of racing happening all over the pack. It's not like, the top 3 are just pulling away into the distance and everybody else is just like, come back, please. I'm struggling. But no, everybody is close to each other. Everybody's fighting for positions, and the safety car gives those who lost out at the start another opportunity to get back into the race. RB20 also, while we were talking, has picked up the first penalty of the race. I think our first penalty of the Tier 2 season. Nice inaugural penalty there. Oh, 5 seconds, my word. Okay, that's not a nice way to start, but he'll have to manage that and factor that into his strategy as well. He's on the hard tires now, so he'll probably look to take this all the way until the end. We'll lose another 2 or 3 laps from safety car and then 20 laps on the hards. Definitely seems possible. Keaton Samuel and Strendy started on the hards, so they'll have to pit another time. So they cannot just go to the end on this set of tires. I'm sure the hards could go all the way until the end, but the strategy will be incomplete if they do. They're probably betting on another safety car pitted towards the end where they can pit to the softs or pit to a fresh set of mediums. Definitely all to play for here. All the drivers in the mid pack, all on the medium, so the strategy is pretty much consistent there. But Jose will feel a little bit hard done. I probably should pronouncing his name wrong. Actually, it's Jose. So probably call him that. Joe's losing out in the first couple of laps, unfortunately, and that is an early shower for him as he sees himself DNFing from the first race of the season, even before lap 3. Let's see. First, big winners and losers from those opening few laps. Dan, if we can just have the position changes quickly, we can have an idea of who's lost out and who's gained a lot in those opening few laps. So you can have a look. Maverick Loki has lost out quite a lot. I think he started P13. He's dropped back 5 positions. But I think the biggest winner from this opening phase is probably Ritesh or BK19.
Okay. And that was Ritesh. He's just lost it on the safety car.
Commentator's curse.
That's one of the worst instances of the commentator's curse I've ever seen.
I think that was the freshest batch of commentator's curse that we've ever baked here in the commentary box. But yeah, that is that was interesting to say the least. But Ritesh, as a result, has gone from 6 positions up on where he started 6 positions.
Ritesh give it, Ritesh take it is the motto for today, as he finds himself in P18 after putting a George Russell there. But let's not get it's not the end of his race. And there's a driver reversing the straight. What's going on here?
Namukadme taking refuge underneath the bridge as he comes under the Wellington Strait, and he's still there, by the way, doing a 25-point turn to get the car facing the right
Making
direction.
Reminiscent proud.
Yes, he's doing our favorite driver, Mahavir Raghunathan, proud with that maneuver. He's finally got the car facing the right way, but those tires will be cooking right now, so he'll have to. Actually, that might play into his advantage because he won't have to warm up his tires later during the safety car restart.
I don't think so. I don't think that's quite ideal.
That's not how it works, does it? That's not how it works at all. But this is, but as I was saying earlier, biggest winners and losers from this, without cursing any more drivers, BK19 then takes the title now, having gained 8 positions at the loss of Ritesh 9350 Singh, who loses out. But he was 6 positions up on where he started. He's now 5 positions down on where he started. Interesting opening couple of laps. But that battle at the front has got me very, very curious. I think you pointed out, I think someone in the chat also pointed out that they were on 3 separate strategies. And that is going to be interesting to see, because all of them are going to have different pit windows in mind. They're all going to have different... Duke picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I think the game is bugging out a bit here with the penalties. I think the stewards may have to have a look. These two...
There's another car who's lost it on the safety car. That's Axis Scoop.
No, it's a scoop.
And he beaches. Almost gets beached in the sausage curve there.
That could have been risky. Going over that
Yep.
curve can spin you at any speed, not just slow speed. So he's lucky to get away there.
Yeah, quite. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't expecting something remotely similar to this, because it's a new game. The car does behave differently, and we can very evidently see the drivers struggling a bit, a tad, and it's just going to get better from here on out, isn't it? As again, back to this point, top 3 on different strategies. Shawshank would probably have to. Shawshank's probably going to get hard done here by the safety car restart. Or maybe not, because he's on the soft tires, so his tires will come up to temperature quickly, but in 2 laps or so, those tires are going to be quite a bit short. Yeah.
Another thing to note as well, the safety car has helped out Shawshank a little bit in that he can really conserve those soft tires a little bit during the safety car period. He can take care of them a bit, and he can manage them a little bit better, maybe to the point where he can pit on lap 10 or lap 11. Might be a bit of a stretch, but if he goes on to the hards, that completes his pit strategy, takes him all the way until the end, and gives him that little bit extra tire advantage over the medium and hard runners. So he has to time the safety car restart perfectly, because he hasn't got many laps left on those softs. Ideally, he's got another 3 or 4 laps at maximum pace before those softs absolutely fall off a cliff. So he'll need to not only get a good safety car restart, but he needs to be on it at the safety car restart and for the next few laps, as the safety car does come in this lap. So we should see the field go green, and you can see Montero, all the mind games right there, pulling alongside Shawshank as he's trying to get the tires up to temperature.
Oh my god.
It's the field is backing up quite a lot here. Shawshank cannot go even if he wants to, even if everyone behind him is shouting at him to go, because their tires are being turned into ice cubes behind him, because the game does not allow you to start before the safety car timing line, which is just before the start-finish straight. So everybody will have to use this time to warm up their tires to get it up to temperature, which Strendy is not really doing a very good job of.
Strendy is going to be running on thin ice.
That's not going to be enough, my good dude.
Yeah, he's going to be running on thin ice, because I can see the understeer already. He's not able to take the speed he wants to with the right line, and he's already lost out. That's what, 3-4 tenths to the car in front, and he's still struggling from there on out. So not quite warming up his tires, but Shawshank seems to have mastered that and got a good start once again.
And he's going to be struggling for the next sector or so, as these guys ahead of him pull ahead, and that is Sager losing the car on start-finish straight, interestingly enough, even before, and he seemed to be quite far back behind the grid. Something tells me that he may have had a spin just before that, coming through the Bale chicane just as we went green, and then he had another spin coming through the final corner there. Luckily, the grid is still bunched up ahead of him, so he should be able to catch up without much fuss, because he has got clean air ahead of him, at least until the back of the grid, as that is AJ getting very, very comfortable with the diffuser of Swatcat there, getting very, very close, up close and personal, as he tries to get into the mind of the Alpine driver, filling his mirrors up, hoping to get a mistake out of him and hoping to get a good run on him going through this corner, but not really working there. And Alpine driver hangs on well. That's a beautiful run through Cobb's corner. But yeah, the safety car restart has worked out very well for Anish Montero and Shawshank, who put a little bit of daylight between themselves and Stendi, and all three of them have put a little bit of daylight between themselves and the rest of the grid. Now Stendi 2 seconds clear of Face Crack at the front. A Monk, Face Crack, and I think one more driver there.
He's 2 seconds behind Montero now.
Oh yeah, my bad. I think, yeah, so Stendi, Face Crack and Monk are involved in a battle right now, and Montero and Shawshank have disappeared into the distance. Shawshank particularly, this will be an important period for him because he has to maximize that period of a tire advantage.
Oh my god, it's so sketchy through there as the Red Bull Duke loses it, and so does Divyansh Koushik. Oh my god, it's all kicking off here as everyone is unable to tackle these monstrosities, trying to keep them on track, but yeah, it's all kicking off here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's unlucky for Divyansh Koushik because that is the second bit of contact that he's been involved in. This time, less of an involvement from his side because the car lost it ahead of him, and then he basically pushed them into the barrier. And then the game was like, okay, I'm going to give you a nice dose of karma because you pushed that guy into the barrier, even though he technically didn't. And then someone bonked him off track, and then he lost his wing. So not a good race for the Divyansh Koushik. He now finds himself in P17 and with, I believe, an orange or a red wing. So
and to add salt to the wound, he's also got to pick up a 3-second time penalty. But
yeah,
it's
and
the complete dosage of bad luck, isn't it? And on the hard tires too.
Yeah, so he's not on the ideal strategy. His wing is gono and his race is gono as well, I think. But crazy things have happened. We could see a comeback drive, especially if there's a safety car period late in the race. Mamukadze picks up 3 seconds.
There's Ritesh making up a position on the Merc driver there. So yeah, he's on the charge again, and he wants to find himself back where he was before. He's offing during the safety car and making some good moves and progress already. So got to keep an eye out for him throughout this race.
That was a good overtake. I think Pirate SG has lost it. I saw Haas dropping down the grid. And there it is, Pirate SG losing the car out going into the final corner, and he's lost a few positions as a result of that, 4 positions or so. Another car has lost it. That is Ritesh. Oh no!
Never mind. Never mind indeed.
He was making up so many positions at the just after the safety car restart. It seemed like he was on a charge, but unfortunately now he's on the back foot as he finds himself once again in P15, a couple of positions behind where he started. So not going well for Ritesh. But yeah, if anything, this is proving that no matter what assists you use, no matter what driving style you employ, these cars are still difficult to drive unless you really put the time in to try and understand them.
Oh my god!
That's one way to go side by side through cops, I guess. Heisenberg had to take evasive measures there as BK19 basically shut the door on him, had to go as close to the wall as possible to the point where he could almost marry it and kiss it at the same time. They are going very, very, very well through Maggots and Beckett, keeping it clean. He has the DRS now, should be dumping a little bit of ERS as well just to get that little bit of a top speed advantage. And he makes it past BK19. BK19 with a beautiful switchback as they come side by side again into the Vale chicane. BK19 with the outside line, but he looked to try to close it off, but he can't do so. Good battle there, great driving from both of them, and Heisenberg does make the most of the situation and takes P7 over his teammate. Oh no, actually no. Are they in the same car? Oh wait, no. Heisenberg's in a Ferrari. I'm looking at Ethan Samuel. My apologies.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh dearie me. Took a little bit too much curb there. Coming through turn 2, and he's lost the car coming into village.
Meanwhile, Montero's mediums have come into their own now, and whereas Shawshank softs are on their last legs. So this is gonna be like taking candy from the baby. There's gonna be so much of a disparity between the grip. As Geets and Samuel trying to get the right lines through there, trying to get the move done on Spotcat, going out wide, trying to get a switch back. Is he going to get the car straight enough in time? As we have a spinning McLaren out of Luffield, and these two pass him there. And yeah, they're trying to a decent battle almost over there between Keith and Swatcat. But yeah, once again, these cars just proving so difficult to be handled in the low speed corners. It's like they just aren't able to get the nose pointed in the right direction quick enough.
As Montero makes his way through on Shawshank there. And yep, definitely on the older tires now, Shawshank will be feeling the weight of that car. These new cars are heavier as well, so very understeery in nature. So he's definitely going to be feeling it. Monk and Ace Scoop going side by side into Stowe. The outside line is definitely difficult to get done, but he has done it there. The tire advantage really paying off there. I mean, they're on identical tires on equal age, so it's just a skill advantage there as he gets it done on the outside. There was a battle going on at the back, but I think the battle has fizzled out a little bit.
As
There was a battle-
Montero's got the move down on Shawshank. We missed that, but there's the Vyanch getting the move down on Bharat SJ, who's on fresh hards, whereas the Vyanch is on fresh softs. So yeah, the grip difference is probably more than 2 seconds per lap, I'd say. And yeah, up in front, Montero seems to be pulling out slightly, with a slight gap. As there's Monk, who gets a bit windy and
Monk has spun it.
has spun it again. Yep.
If we can go on board VK19, I believe him and Monk and Maverick Loki are all involved in a battle right now. Monk dropping back, I think he may
Monk
have
was
had
the
a-
driver who just spun though.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. There was a battle going on there, so I was curious to go on board, and then of course that happened. So the feed has spaced itself out a little bit, a minimum of at least a second gap. I think Monk is fairly close to AJ, but that's the only battle going on right now as everybody seems to be settling into their race pace. BK19 has made up a little bit of time on Ace Scoop. He is within a second, but he's still fair ways off, about 6/10 off. He will have DRS coming into the next DRS section, but he should not be able to get the overtake done on this lap unless Ace Scoop spins it. Shawshank comes into the pits on lap 10, so the softs have gone, taking away the safety car period. It's gone about 7 laps, which is about right, I'd say. Coming into the pits now, I'm curious to see what strategy he'll go on. The hards definitely will be my prediction. And, ooh, okay. The mediums, 15
Interesting
laps on the
choice.
mediums. I think that's
The
possible.
I don't think so. Maybe it is, but those tires will be shot by the end of it. And let's stay on board with him actually and see how he's going to tackle ice cold tires.
Those tires are going to be
Disease.
begging for mercy right now as he comes out in P12, and I think that says everything about the level of competitiveness in Tier 2. You know, you make a pit stop from P2 and you come out in P12. So now Shawshank not only has to deal with warming up these tires, but he also has to deal with any traffic that he may encounter along the way, which I'm sure he won't encounter for at least a lap because those tires will take their own sweet time to get into the window. Shawshank now on P13, you can see him trying to weave down the Wellington straight, trying to
Yeah.
get some temperature into those tires. Dips a wheel on.
But we have the telemetry back on Dan. To see the throttle because yep. Thank you for that. And
Very tender on the throttle.
yeah, as you can imagine on those ice cold tires, and the mediums still won't be that bad. But what's interesting here is that it's still slightly overcast. So if these guys aren't running very high pressures, which I don't think they are, because the tires do, once they do heat up, they're really hard to cool down. It's really dry out. So that these tires are going to take even longer to heat up. So it's just going to be Shawshank starting for a lap and a bit.
Absolutely, the race is definitely unfolding now. We've got a number of plot lines unfolding. So we've got a former race leader Shawshank who's now come in for a set of mediums. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes that all the way to the end. Montero definitely on the safe strategy, which is the medium hard, I would guess. So he's going to be looking to take those mediums for at least another 2 or 3 laps and then bid for the hards. But he's going to have to time that well because it takes at least a lap and a bit for the hards to warm up, and on that lap it's absolute death to drive those cars. So him, especially with PC off, he's going to have to take particular caution in warming up those
Oh
tires.
no! Oh, that was badly misjudged by the Williams driver, and that's going to be in the reports. That caused the Astons to go side by side as they back out of that. But BK's got Axis was given the position back. That's good sportsmanship from the Williams driver. Though I think he might have done a bit too much there because he's lost the position to the other Aston as well now.
Something tells me Gaten Samuel may have planned that. His brake check him going halfway into the corner.
And through goes Geethan Samuel.
Through goes BK19 as well. Or you mean he goes through Gaten Samuel.
Yep.
But yes, Ace Scoop losing 2 positions there, giving 1 position out of sportsmanship, but 1 position out of spite. as BK19 moves himself up into P6. I was going to say P16 there. P6 on 11 lap old mediums. Curious to see how Strendy is going to tackle this race. I don't think he's going to be going on to the mediums. I think that would be a pretty bogey strategy right now, considering he's lost a couple of laps to the safety car. Something tells me he should stick on the hard tires for another 5-6 laps and then pick to the softs, and he'll be really, really rapid at the end of the race, much faster than some of the medium runners and hard runners will be struggling.
Yeah, if he's going to want to make the soft stint the most out of the soft stint, that he'll be better off pitting around lap 21 and 8 more laps on those hard tires. I think there's definitely 8 more laps in them, but the pace drop off will be massive. So, in overall race time lost, race time, it's not going to be very good for him. So, yeah. I don't think the soft tire would be a good strategy call. Probably mediums would be the best.
I think you guys would be able to inform me a little better on this, but is Abhi on a controller or is he on a wheel?
Yeah, he's a controller.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that he's a little bit
Oh
rusty.
my god, what?
We should not be laughing. This is a serious situation, but that
It's a
was
safety car, guys.
Mamuka.
Oh, that's a safety car out, yep.
Oh, interesting strategy mix-up for everybody. As Spacecrack dives into the pits, he actually timed that perfectly. The safety cars come out right as
Oh, he's
come
DNF
around.
from that.
Yeah, he's really benefited from that, and he's on the mediums now. Another 2 or 3 laps lost, and then on the softs, maybe Strendy will go on to the softs, but logic says he'll go on to the mediums because that's the safe strategy. But yeah, Mamuka Admi losing it in an interesting spot, and then the car went into an interesting direction as well, because usually when you lose it through the final corner, you counter steer and then you snap the other way and go into the wall on the left. You don't necessarily end up not counter steering at all and just going, it's steering this way, let me also steer this way and steer into the pit lane wall. That's an interesting way to lose the car from the Alfa Romeo driver, but he finds himself out of the race. That's our second retirement now, as he not an early shower per se, but if he stays outside on the grid for a little bit longer, he might enjoy some
Shawshank's
nice
bit for
weather.
soft tires. I don't think that's the right call. Ooh.
That's interesting. He lose
A lot of drives in the soft tires. If those guys think they can make it till the end, I don't think. I mean, they might be able to make it till the end, but
we're definitely going to see some Bono, my tires are Gono references in
Oh,
the
yeah.
chat, as well as the tier 2 chat post race, because all these guys will be sweating bullets when they get to the end, because those softs will be on 50-60% wear, and at
but
that
they'll
point-
probably be the quickest, and by quite a margin, not the safety car this time, using 4 tires
But
on
you
everyone
also-
else in the
you
harder
also-
corner.
You'll also have to consider at the start, because how many laps do you get before you have to start thinking about conserving your tires? Because obviously you're pitting on lap 14 for a set of softs. Ideal scenario, you lose 3 laps to the safety car. 17 to 26 is still 9 laps on the softs, which is a bit of a stretch. It's possible, but a bit of a stretch.
That is a stretch. 9 laps is a stretch before you get to the cliff. So,
Yeah, so at the safety car restart, these guys on the softs will have to prioritize. Do I push absolutely for 4 laps and then risk being on basically running on the rim towards the
Streeter
end?
in the comment says the soft tires won't make it.
Guys, news for you. Montero and Strendy have both picked up 5-second penalties.
Oh my
Speeding in
god.
the pit lane.
Well.
Confirmed. Bit too early to say, because I think he's on the soft tires. So interesting strategy. What tires will Montero go for? Okay, he's gone for the softs. Okay, Strendy's gone for the medium.
Montero is going for the softs. There's a tire offset here. I'm loving this. There's everyone on bonkers strategies, just calling it out. Whatever tires that they want to go to.
Just throw in
And-
the kitchen sink and hoping
Yup.
something happens. No, but I'm interested to see Strendy going for the safe strategy. I think this is one of those races where you just kind of, as we mentioned earlier,
Eisenberg
throw the
finds himself
kitchen
in
sink.
P2 without a penalty and probably on fresh hards as Maverick Loki just taking a breather there from racing and he just wants to just chill for a bit as he's stopped again. What's going on here?
Oh, he's in neutral. Oh, he's in
What?
first. He's in first now. He's in, okay.
Was he waiting for the safety car? What's...
Oh, I know what's happened. The safety car delta is crazy for them right now.
Ah, I see. That's
Absolutely
one.
put it in
Oh
reverse.
no, it's
and-
probably Maverick, Loki, and Shawshank have to give each other the position back, and they can't quite decide what to do because as okay.
Codemasters.
Codemasters alert, Codemasters alert.
Exactly.
Uh, okay, I think hopefully we can get things to settle down. These drivers are just talking to each other as in the cockpit. I think this going side by side, absolutely everywhere.
It
And
should be another lap. I don't think they'll be starting on this lap. I think should be the lap after this as AJ picks up a 5-second penalty.
that's you're not racing now. Oh, and AJ is gonna drive through speeding under the safety car as. Oh
Taking a
my
page out of
God, what is
taking a
going
page out of
on?
my book there.
My oh my.
That is definitely a slam dunk for AJ there. He'll have to serve that, and that's pretty much an end to any chance of points for him. Actually, no
That's up.
point.
He's left the session. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Abhi's left the session. He'll be on AI for the remaining of this race. And maybe his AI gets better points than he does. Wouldn't that be funny? As we are on the second lap of the safety car now, should be another lap before we get underway because a lot of the grid is still spread quite far apart. So there's a lead.
There's
back.
like packs of cars. There's like two cars going close to each other, and then two cars behind going close to each other. No one's really catching up to the lead as
What's happening? Why is everybody doing this?
I don't
Everybody's
know.
going incredibly,
No clue
incredibly
what's going on.
slowly when they come through the final turn, and then
Yeah.
they speed up, go full
And then
speed
they
down
just
the main
go.
straight, and then they take this turn flat, and then that's probably some tire warming strategy that I am not aware of. But it's very, very weird because everyone's doing it when they come through the final corner. although Strendy has not done it this time, he's just sending it on the right side to the safety car. It's
That's the
like,
spirit. That's what we want to see. Oh no, that is not what we want to see.
He has warmed up his tires though, big ups.
Oh yeah, he's probably done that. Yeah, that's style warm strat.
He's done that though.
This game is utter garbage, man.
Few wise words from our streamer there.
Yeah.
As we watch Pirate go into the pits, as everyone's still scurrying around. Hopefully the pack does catch up to Heisenberg and we get some actual racing action going on. It's, again,
The thing
Moto's
is,
coming down.
it doesn't feel like the rest of the pack is catching up. It doesn't feel like they're getting any closer, even though it's been a lap. It still feels like they're half a lap behind, which is what's the safety car doing? Why is he going like an F1 car? The safety
Okay,
car
so
is-
someone in the comments is saying they're getting a 5-second delta, which is not allowing the drivers to catch up. The safety cars finally end in this lap, but what is this restart going to be? We have Montero, Heisenberg, and Face Crack in a league of their own. Now, I don't mean that in that way, because the safety car is just the safety cars caused a 14-second buffer between P3 and P4. So these guys have no chance of catching up now because the safety guys.
Surely Face Crack, Heisenberg, and Montero should just have like a gentleman's agreement and let the rest of the field catch up.
Yeah,
Surely, I mean,
that would be amazing actually, but I highly doubt in a competitive field such as this, these drivers will do that. As we
But
get
you know-
racing again, and Montero on soft tires is hounding Heisenberg on the hard tires. Probably a second or 2 seconds difference in pace there between these two drivers right now. As Montero sends it almost down the inside there.
looks to send it down the inside of turn 3 there, not working out for him, but he's going to have a lot more opportunities because those two hard tires.
Oh my God, he's going to go clean round the outside of both the drivers. Is he
But
going to
it's
get
still
the
overtaking.
blade breaking? And as he's going on the outside of the AlphaTauri, gets the move done. What a beautiful move that is.
If you
Good
ever
lap,
need
man.
to explain the tire compounds to anyone who hasn't watched F1, show them that clip because that should give them enough of an idea of what the soft tires does versus the hard tires. That is an insane
Yep.
overtake from Montero, although it's a lot to do with the fact that he's on fresh softs and these two boys are still struggling on cold hards. And
Yeah.
as you were mentioning earlier, I just wanted to point out that fresh hards is a bad thing. Fresh hards is a bad thing. 4-lap old hards, now that's a good thing.
Hotlap
Yeah.
Old Hards is the optimum tire, optimum working condition for the Hards as AJ spins again, compounding a bad race for him after the DP as well. He's just trying to make it to the end now. So good commitment from him to make it to the checkered flag. But yeah, the race is pretty much a gone lost cause for him. Although Strendy has caught up a lot to Face Crack and Heisenberg in this last lap. He's caught up nearly 3 seconds, and that advantage is only getting shorter and shorter for Heisenberg. So him and Face Crack both have to get those hard tires up to temperature as quickly as possible because they're really losing a lot of time to the pack behind them. Although there is quite a huge gulf between P4 and P5 and the rest of the field because it's nearly 10 seconds separating PK19 and Strendy. So Strendy now has the deficit. Has the benefit to BK19 behind him. You can probably almost have like a spin going through a corner and then still be in P4. So that's a lot. That's a good advantage to have, I guess.
A lot of drivers picking up penalties there. I just saw like 3-4 banner notifications come up as Heisenberg goes onto the gravel on the exit of Luffield and
Heisenberg taking the GT3
it's the real
position there.
The switch to ACC is coming soon.
At this rate, if controllers are going to really struggle on the F122 game, then ACC time it is, lads. ACC League is started as well. Shameless plug. Amazon Saturday evening.
Another one.
Another one bites the dust as
You know, I mean, all these spins are nice, but I find find it satisfying the way the car just snaps back into position after the spin.
Oh yeah, it's very odd, very odd.
Very odd, yeah. But yeah, Strendy or Duke there trying to get the tires up and running again, and Abhi just pushing him through. It seems Abhi is back in the lobby, and he's getting some good overtaking action underway. So good for him, good racing experience there. And
Yeah,
just
we
goes,
go. We need
yeah,
16,
go Abhi, go! You can do
we
it.
need 16-second lap times from you as well. By the way, will that fastest lap stand? Because if that's 16 seconds, nobody is beaten it yet.
Yeah, I think it's going to the coordinator is going to see that legitimate proper lap time as Divyansh and Sajan are going side by side. Divyansh gets a beautiful line to the exit of Vale. Is he going to put the power down before the Red Bull in front of him? Seems to have done so, but again the straight line deficit is quite apparent as he's got no ERS and Sajan's probably blasting through this right now from the front. But yeah, Divyansh Kaushik's taking some good lines there, trying to plan an overtake. Again, filling again, as you said, in the Red Bull spin-offs there is Divyansh Kaushik's alpha. But yeah, good racing.
If we can just go on board Shawshank, I believe he's just behind Geethan Samuel coming through.
Oh,
the corner
not
there.
anymore.
Samuel goes off and Shawshank takes the position. I think Geethan Samuel might lose another position here because he's lost a bit of speed going through the gravel there, little bit of off-roading, little bit of extreme E action from the Aston Martin driver, and he has lost a bit of time to Maverick Loki in the AlphaTauri. I think you can definitely agree with this onboard. It's a beautiful onboard from the AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Absolutely
car.
gorgeous.
We can stay on board with Maverick Loki as he looks to get an overtake done on Geethan Samuel. DRS
On the
open.
soft tires.
They both have DRS, so there's not much of a speed differential between them. He'll have to get it done on tire advantage purely. I think Geethan Samuel got a very slow run through there, but he just parks it on the apex.
Yeah. And yeah, good defense there from Ethan, or maybe good choice of a racing line there. He got the power on earlier than the car behind. And even though the tire advantage is not playing a factor, well, yeah, that's another spin out of Vale. How many have we had there? Just alone in that corner in itself.
Tier 1 boys, take note.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna be taking not notes from this one because, yeah, very scary from that corner. But now going up front, you can see Strendy is closed in to Face Crack, and this battle is actually more interesting because there's a type of three cars just sticking together.
We can't really have an idea of the tire wear right now because the telemetry is a little bit bugged. So we can't really tell you how the tires are looking right now. But I'm assuming Montero is somewhere around the 30-40% mark, I'd like to assume. Maybe a little bit less, maybe 25-30%. So he has to take those tires all the way till the end. As yellow flag in sector 1, that's Duke has
Duke,
run around again. I think it's Duke. Yeah, the delta suddenly gone from 6 tenths to 6 seconds. Let's never a nice feeling for Duke. The delta just keeps increasing now, and
Yeah.
he's 8 seconds back after being just on his diffuser. Lots of battles happening all over the wow, all over the track right now. Sorry, a lot of FIFA in recent days has swayed my mind a little bit. Divyansh Koushik is not that far behind Caesar, and up ahead, Monk and Ritesh are involved in and Maverick Loki are involved in a battle with Aces Scoop. Three drivers are sitting on Aces Scoop's diffuser right now, all looking to capitalize on the fact that Aces Scoop has gone on the hard tires. Not able to get them up to temperature probably, and probably struggling with them. Maverick Loki is on the soft tires and looking to capitalize, and somehow Ritesh is keeping up with Maverick Loki even though he's on the hard tires himself. So
The soft tires are dying though, but lap 7, yeah, the soft tires will be as good as fresh hards right now. So,
yeah. So the soft advantage is running out a bit now. Maybe there's a chance that Face Crack can close that gap in on Montero if that is the case. But Montero is very consistent. He's a clean driver. Doesn't make too many mistakes.
I was just going to point that out. Montero's got to pick himself a rare penalty. Or is that the 5 seconds he got for speeding into the pit?
That is the only one. Speeding under safety, yellow flags, I think is the only one that he had today.
Yeah.
So he's doing a pretty good job so far. Strendy moving out of the slipstream of Face Crack and gets the move done on the medium tires. He has the tire advantage there, I think. Strendy is in with a strong chance of finishing on the podium, maybe if not on the top step. If Montero drops off a little bit towards the end of the race, that delta really start coming into his own, and it is a lot of drivers trying to bully BK19.
BK parked his car on the apex and Swatcat had to back out instantly. That allows Shawshank to go around the outside. But now BK or Swatcat is going to have the outside line. They're going side by side through the Vale section. And they're still going side by side. Please don't touch, lads. And it's finally an overtake done.
Absolutely spectacular racing there from the two boys. Really kept it clean and knew their limits. Did not want to push it too much through turn 1. Smart from SWATcat, backed out a little bit, but now he'll have a good advantage because now he has DRS. Shawshank will have DRS on BK19, but he'll just be able to tag on to the back of that battle, try to keep the scraps because eventually Shawshank is going to pass BK19 because he is on the hard tires, and then he'll try to make his way past BK as well, and then he'll have a nice run on Shawshank because he will have the DRS. But yeah, Shawshank on those soft tires really making the red tires pay off in the red Ferrari, making up a lot of positions on the safety car restart, even though he was quite far back as Aces Scoop barely makes it away from that corner without losing a front wing to Ritesh, who is still behind Maverick Loki, and they're trying to battle for position as that is a yellow flag as Caesar loses it in the background.
The Red Bulls not having a good race today. And, Montero split again. What? That's an odd call. I think he realized that the strategy isn't going to work. The soft tires won't last, and he's just coming to the pits. And yeah, that's probably his podium out of the window now, because that's going to allow Heisenberg to get past as well. And Swatcat's had a bit of an offing, which is a shame because he was having a beautiful battle with Shawshank, but now he finds himself behind Ethan Samuel, quite ways off the Ferrari he was battling with.
I think Montero might still have an outside chance of getting a podium because I think he's on a fresh set of softs and he only has 3 laps left, so he can go.
Oh, but he's in P8, that's quite far back.
Then you're right, but surely this must be like a red flag.
P10 now.
Warning. Ooh, and he, someone else. That's a P. I think this is warning signs for those on the softs, because seeing Montero pit, surely Shawshank and Maverick Loki are going to be thinking, can I get to the end?
Yeah.
These tires, they get to the end now, and then now they're going to be second guessing their strategy because they've seen Montero, who was in P1 for a lot of this race, go on that strategy, and it hasn't worked out for him, or maybe he feels like it's a safer call to take the pit stop now, but it stopped him quite far back, just ahead of his own teammate in Monk in P12.
Tell you what though, the Ferrari Shawshank, even those old softs, is doing a brilliant job closing up to BK, who's obviously got the tire advantage at this moment. So I don't know how Shawshank is doing this. Maybe he's massaged his tires throughout that safety car restart period, and he hasn't used up much of his tires, but he has used quite a bit of VRS. So there's that. But yeah, Shawshank showing some incredible pace as BK gets a bit nervy on the exit. Still there. Another move for the Ferrari.
I don't think Shawshank is going to close up 5 seconds to Heisenberg. But, you know,
He's only going to drop back from here. Those tires are going to be short. They should be short. I don't know how he's keeping it on track and he overtakes stuff.
Yeah, really good tire management there from the Ferrari driver. But Ferrari looking in a good position now for P3 and P4. Good points finish for them. They should have a nice advantage in the WDC. Sorry, the WCC, my bad. PK19 and Gideon Samuel also in a double points finish. And Swatka and Ritesh also in a double points finish. Wow, look at that. 2 Ferraris, 2 Astons, 2 Alpines. Dare I say something's going to happen in the next few laps, but that's a nice little bit of...
Now, and we could see 2 McLarens together as Monk is reeling in Divyansh, but so is Montero to Maverick, so we don't know who to stick with in this battle. We've got to go on board Monk, but I think Montero is going to be just making a move on those fresh softs on Maverick Loki, who's got quite worn soft tires right now. Let's have a look at this
not that Montero is in a battle now with Maverick Loki and Ritesh. Ritesh is also just a second down the road, so he should be able to get another position. Also keep in mind that Montero has served his...
He only has 2 laps left though. Oh yeah, he's got that done as well. So that's actually not a bad decision Montero's taken, but he's only got 2 more laps now left to catch up to a good points position. And as you see, PK making a move around the outside of Shawshank. He gets a move done. He got overtaken here last lap by the Ferrari, but now the tire advantage has come into play, and that's PK up to P4. As Shawshank tries to sniff a move down the inside there, but way too ambitious. But yeah, that's PK well ahead of the Ferrari.
Yeah, he was just trying to get his nose in there, trying to see. Ooh!
Oh no!
That's not ideal for McLaren in the constructors' driver. Something's wrong with me today, but. Yeah, really good battle there for P4 from Shawshank and BK, and yeah, that soft tire advantage is now dying off. He's dropping back, he's losing a lot of time through the corners. But this battle for P9, P8 is still happening. Montero about 5 tenths behind Ritesh right now. The battle is still on. Shawshank and Geetan Samuel a little bit further down the road. Maybe if Montero can close the delta up.
Oh, he definitely can. He's past Ritesh, and he's also going to get the move done on SWAT Cat in a few corners as well now. So P7 looks in the cards. Yeah. I think those penalties are a bit too far ahead for Montero to capitalize on.
I think Montero is about within 6 seconds or within 7. Oh no, wait, no, he's with 10 plus seconds behind Shawshank. So yeah, that might not be possible. But it's been a very, very riveting race so far. Strendi finds himself in P1. A great race from him. He's managed the tires well.
I think that was Divyansh getting the move done around the outside finally on the axis group. And there's Montero with the soft tire advantage, but he doesn't have the ERS quite to get the move done easily. So it's going to be proper a move on the brakes as he barges his way through on the Alpine there. Very aggressive. First time I'm seeing Montero being a bit aggressive. Yeah, that's caused the 2 Alpines to go side by side in the background there. And who's going to come out in front? That's Ritesh capitalizing on the shenanigans caused by Montero there. Good racing as well.
I think had SWAT Cat not got deep into the corner, he could have actually made the move done there on his limit, because Ritesh just overestimated his braking capabilities and went a little deep into the corner. As there's a yellow flag coming through Cobb's corner, I believe someone, I think this has gone slowly or spun. I think Pirate SG or AJ, both houses in P17 and P18.
Who is that? I have no clue who that was, but
Maverick Loki. That was Maverick
Loki.
AlphaTauri. You should be disappointed at that. But
oh my God, they're going side by side through there as no.
Divyansh Koushik involved with another incident there. This time not of his own accord, but Aces Group just gave him a little tap there, and now he's slowing down a lot, looking to give him the position back. But Sager is capitalized.
Sager says hello. I'll take that. Thank you very much. But I was going to say good racing, but oh wow, it was the last lap.
It was the last lap. There was so much action.
Face track takes the win on penalties. A debutant driver taking his first maiden win in his first race in IRC, I think. Good performance, a very underdog performance. Not much we mentioned through the entire race, but he was there. He kept it clean. he kept it stable. He didn't
Also,
spin
it's
out.
interesting to note that Facecrack and Strendy are the only two drivers who went for the generic strategy, who went for the hard. Well, Facecrack went for the medium hard, Strendy went for the hard medium. So they've both
Oh
come
my
out one and
god,
two.
we might have a last minute dive bomb from Maverick Loki that's ended in tears. Oh no.
And Helium gained the position.
Oh
The other
no.
driver who spun out has actually recovered well, and oh no!
Oh, and he spun again.
He's going to
Oh
lose another
boy.
couple of positions there. If Shawshank has anything to say about it, where is Shawshank? He has pitted, by the way. Interesting to note.
No, he
Shawshank
didn't pit. He's still on 12 lap old soft tires, so he's basically running on the rims.
His
right
tires, yeah, his tires are punctured.
now. Yeah, he's got a puncture. Oh no.
Look at that.
Oh my god, it's
Start to the
completely
season.
shot. Oh, what a race. And you can probably hear Facecrack celebrating as his name shows up in the bottom left there. Yeah, that was a very hectic race. If I'd say so. What the hell?
What an end to the race. That
Yep.
was a hectic end to the race. Definitely a very, very fun start to the season in Tier 2. We've definitely seen some fantastic driving there as we see Facecrack laughing his way onto the podium because it said haha on the left there. As Facecrack takes the first victory of the season, picks up P1 for AlphaTauri. So, Moto, you should be happy with that. I believe it
Oh, yeah.
was Heisenberg and Strendy rounding off the podium. And these are all the incidents, all the penalties that we picked up. But that was the pit stops. But yes, Facecrack, Strendy, and Heisenberg, your podium sitters for today. A brilliant race from Facecrack. Just stuck to his strategy, didn't get involved in too many battles, and just capitalized on other people's misfortunes. PK19, Keaton Samuel, Montero, Swatcat, Ritesh, Sager, and Monk round off the top 10.
Oh,
Disappointment
look at those
for
fastest
Montero.
laps, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely insanely
16 seconds.
fast. Tier 2
Yeah.
is rapid.
Is this the future of F1? Confirmed. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, this has to be 16-second lap times. We're using Saturn V rockets now, lads.
Codemasters
we
at the
actually might have
wheel.
to. We're gonna have to have a look at the race director and see who actually got the fastest lap.
Monk,
We'll need it
Aces,
for the-
Scoop, Divyansh, Koushik, Maverick Loki, Shawshank, and Abhi20 rounding off the top 15, and the last points positions, and Duke, Pirate, SG, and AJ are the remaining drivers, and Mamuka Admi and Josehiro did not complete the race, unfortunately. And yeah, that's it for Tier 2. It's a brilliant race. Facecrack has won it. We'll head on to the podium interviews. I believe Facecrack and Heisenberg are here. I think we'll start. We'll go from
P3?
third.
Yeah.
P3, P1? Yeah, that's a good order. Heisenberg, you finished P3. Welcome back. It's a new season. How are you feeling with that? Good way to start.
Yeah, thank you. I was pretty skeptical coming into the race. I couldn't finish a 5-lapper without spinning, so I didn't have much expectations. But starting P9, a podium with a spin, I'll take it.
Yep, absolutely. How was this inaugural race in the league with a controller? Because definitely F1 22 has been notorious for being quite difficult on controller, but you've adapted quickly. It is a testament to your ability, and you've seized a podium today. A good start to the season.
Yeah, before the recent patch, it was it was not I was not able to play on it. The feedback was all over the place, but since the recent patch, it's been fine. But yeah, I still spun today. I'll take that with a pinch of salt.
A bit of Max Verstappen from a spin to not a win but a podium. So, did you expect a podium coming into this race? Because you qualified, what was it, P8? So, after qualifying, what were your intentions in the race? Like, how did you plan?
Yeah, I qualified P9, I think, and then at the start, I was just taking it easy. I dropped back to almost P12, and then I had the pace, so I, I made a couple of overtakes, and then after the safety car restart, I had the pace to win, but then after I spun, I lost 10 seconds to the leaders, so I couldn't. I ended up with a podium. I'll take it.
Yep,
Yeah,
regardless of the
congratulations on that.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Yep, regardless of the circumstances, you made the most of it. Then we have Strendy in P2, who technically should have finished P1, but unfortunately, due to penalties, he drops back a little bit. Strendy, welcome to Tier 2. How was the inaugural race for you?
It was nice. I would like to thank the guys who are back in the factory. They work so hard for us. Williams, the car is amazing and such a good race. I'm looking forward to winning the next race.
The boys back at the factory reciprocate your emotions. Talk us through your race. I think you went for the standard strategy. I think you went from the you went from the hard. You started on the hards. Talk us through that.
Yeah, so I was looking. I had practiced yesterday, so I was racing at 50% race with the AI. So I noticed that if I start on hards, everybody starts on mediums. That's just how it goes. So if I start on hards, I can pull them back and actually gain it with my medium tires, and that's what happened. But the game got glitched during the safety car, so I couldn't come like pull that much in front because of the glitch
Oh,
that
yeah,
happened.
talk us through the safety car because we're all left in ambiguity. Like we had no clue what was going on. So
So
what was
there was
happening yesterday?
every 2 seconds there was delta telling me to slow down. But these three guys in front who were in front of me, they could follow the safety car like normal, but I had to keep on stopping. And everybody behind me, they had to keep on stopping every 2 seconds, even when the safety car was out. It was a
Hmm.
little bit glitched.
Yeah, well, little bit would be an understatement because that didn't it defeated the purpose of the safety car. So yeah, I mean, regardless, great race from you, and unlucky with that penalty. Otherwise, it would have been your win easily. So yeah,
Yep.
things are looking good. You have the pace this season. Probably a chance at the WDC.
Yep. Hopefully, let's see.
Nice, nice. Keep it up, and yeah, congrats on P2. But yeah, now heading on to the man of the moment, face crack. I think it was your first race today, and you won. Talk us through it. How was it?
Yeah, man, I do not know. I'm speechless. This was my very first league race, very first race in general. So, firstly, I mean, I would like to congratulate you guys. You guys are putting on a really good show. It's really well managed. It's so yeah, congrats to you guys. Props to you guys. Um, and honestly, like I did not know what to expect coming into this race. I had practiced a bit, but then after looking at the times of these guys on the evaluation races, I just thought I'd be happy if I'll be in the midfield or maybe top midfield. But then, and I guess that's where I was. And but yeah, just pitted at the right time under the safety car. So I mean, as I was approaching the pit lane entry, that's when the safety car came out. So
Yeah, we
got
definitely noticed that. We did
Yeah.
notice that the safety car came out and we saw face crack pitting, and then we were like, yeah, he's timed that perfectly. It's worked out really well
uh,
for you.
Yeah, so got lucky with that. But then apart from that, I think the main thing was for me to keep it clean. That was my primary focus because I think I tend to make a few mistakes here and there. So I think probably that's what paid off at the end because yeah, I mean I did not finish first on track, but yeah, I did. I think I had no penalties. So, but yeah, really, really happy. Don't know what to say.
I don't think you were involved in too many battles either, if I'm not wrong. There weren't too many instances of you fighting people. So I think it was just a case of you getting the strategy right, keeping consistent, and just making it work out, and benefiting from the misfortune of others. So I think that goes to show that if you pick your strategy well and you time your pit stops right, which in your case you timed it perfectly with a safety car, I think you can benefit a lot, even though there are drivers faster than you around you. And you've won the inaugural race of the season. Congratulations. And I hope that goes a long way in your push for the WDC because you've got the lead for now.
Yeah. That's so true. I honestly did not. Towards the end, I did not want to fight, so I forgot the person who was behind me. I kind of let him go because I knew he had a penalty, and I thought if I fight him, I might lose time to the runners behind. And even at the start of the race, I think I was stuck behind someone on the hards, and I just thought, let's save tires, let's not fight him and lose time. Let's just sit back and then maybe we can overcut someone or something like that. So that is what was my thought process. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very smart decision there, not fighting because that guy had a penalty. Yeah, not many people have the patience to do that. And yeah, really securing yourself amongst the grid. So congrats on the win and good luck for the couple of races coming up. And hopefully we see you on the top step again. But yeah, that's it for today afternoon. We've had a fantastic race. action throughout, bit of glitches here and there. The game isn't quite at
A
its last
bit.
stages of
Just
development.
before
A
just
bit.
before we end
Moto,
though,
are you
Moto.
sure about that?
Just before we end, though, while we were doing the podium interviews, we did get a couple of super chats, so we should just go through them. Both of them are from Pankaj Patil. He initially sent a message, he sent a super chat saying, "Kick everyone if Strendy is winning." So, interesting statement there from Pankaj. And also, he sent another one saying IRC should reconsider its grid. I think IRC should reconsider their whole roster if Strendy is winning. So, not quite sure if that's just a friendly jibe from a friend or if he seriously meant it. But yeah, Strendy timed the strategy there perfectly. So, we'll give it to him today. I think he deserved it today. There's nothing really to talk about here. Regardless, we hope you enjoyed the race today. I think I definitely enjoyed commentating on it. And yeah, Moto, what are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a fantastic race. So these drivers still getting up to metal with the terms of the game and the handling, and it's only up from here. And yeah, we're going to get more good racing in the upcoming review races. So do tune in tonight at 8 p.m. We do go live again for Tier 1. Fastest boys of IRC take it out together on track, and yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race as well. So do tune in for that. Do follow us on our socials, which are on the screen right now. And Swin Itzel, Swin Moto and Itzel. This is IRC Street Teams signing out. See ya.